Thank you.
To Lori Milroy.
In condemning the Turkish attacks on the Peshmerga, the KRG said that the basis of the problem is that the PKK is remaining in Sinjar. Is that a perspective that you would agree with?
Well, the PKK being anywhere in Iraq or Syria is a problem because they're a terrorist group. As far as whether that's the crux of the problem, we've identified what we think is problematic here, and the inadequate coordination time and the notification rather than coordination are two areas that are just not good. And then, of course, our partnered forces have been killed in this strike, and these are forces that have been integral in fighting ISIS. They've been reliable in making progress against ISIS fighters under very difficult and dangerous conditions. They have made many, many sacrifices to help defeat ISIS, and that keeps the whole world safer. So that is our position on that.
And you said that U.S. forces were within 6 miles of the strikes. Are you saying that U.S. forces were potentially endangered by them?
I'm saying that less than an hour of notification time is an inadequate amount of time to have our forces leave the ops box area that was identified, which was a very large ops box, not enough fidelity for us to assure that they were safe. So it was an unsafe way to conduct operations. It's a very complex battlefield here, and we just want to make sure that coordination is done so that we can get these things right and prevent the types of incidents that we saw here, which included the killing of Peshmerga soldiers in Sinjar area.
Question, did you get any assurances at all that something's been done to rectify this problem, it won't happen again?
I'm not aware of any at this time.
Okay, next to Casimir Larry with Anadolu.
Colonel Dorrian, you said that PKK is a problem wherever it is in Iraq because it's a terrorist group. And then yesterday, a group of U.S. forces have been filmed and pictured in northeast Syria, in the area where struck by the Turkish air elements. And those forces are welcomed by PKK flags, as well as PKK leaders, posters, and pictures. So according to you, isn't it controversial for American forces being welcomed by supporters and elements of a designated terrorist group in that area, that's PKK?
Well, we did have forces that went to check on the partner forces who were harmed by the strikes. So that's what they were doing. They were working with the SDF. That's our partner force. They've been a reliable force in fighting ISIS throughout northern Iraq, and indeed have made a tremendous number of sacrifices in order to advance and isolate Raqqa. So that's what we were doing there.
So so you say that it was the SDF elements who were carrying PKK flags or PKK leaders' posters, or were they PKK elements over there? Are you aware that there is no PKK elements in the area where your forces have been checking or patrolling?
Well, what I'm telling you is that we were there to visit our partnered force. They've been a reliable partner force, and we wanted to make sure that we were there to assess the damage and to assure them that we're committed to our partnership with them as they continue isolating Raqqa.
The Turkish military is saying that they have conducted those strikes based on the intelligence information that many of the recent PKK attacks in Turkey have been plotted and supplied with equipments and arms coming from Sinjar region and Karachok region. Militarily thinking, according to you, apart from notification and targeting partnered forces, do you think that those targets were actually militarily legitimate targets because a significant national security threat is coming out of these areas, these two areas?
Yeah, we believe that our partnered forces were struck in northern Syria, and we believe that Peshmerga forces were killed in Sinjar. Those are the two things that we believe based on what we've seen here. And some of the problem with this was there was not an acceptable level of coordination between the two sides, and not an adequate amount of time given to assure that that coordination could be done so that we can deconflict operations and make sure that all forces that are fighting ISIS in northern Syria have the opportunity to remain focused on that.
Sir.
With Daily Sabah. To follow up on Qasim's question, there is a picture and a video showing that an American officer, a senior officer apparently, walking with a PKK officer, a well-known commander. His name is Shahin Jilo, yesterday, and he has been a top commander in PKK's armored wing HPG, and he has been in control of the European command for a while when he was in Europe. And then he returned to Syria, and he was assigned as YPG's and PKK's general commander in the country. And he has been designated as especially a leading terrorist by Turkey. And he's pictured, there's a proof that he's walking with an American officer in northern Syria. Are you aware of that?
I'm aware that we had an officer go to northern Syria to check on our partnered force following the strikes that killed some of their soldiers. And that's what we were there to do. There were a lot of people present. That's really all I have for you on that.
A second question. The Turkish foreign minister said that they informed the United States that they should withdraw their forces from the border area at a distance of 30 kilometers because there was an upcoming Turkish operations in coming days, like days before this airstrikes. Do you have any information on that? Would you confirm that Turkey informed you that they would conduct operations in that specific region?
Yeah, I haven't seen those statements, so it'd be inappropriate for me to comment on them.
My apologies to Lori Milroy, who I skipped over before.
Oh, Kurdistan, you didn't. I came up with another question.
Okay.
Oh,
did I not? I'm sorry.
Well, with Kurdistan 24, and Sir Colonel Dorrian, your statement that it's not an acceptable level of coordination. Are you suggesting that if the Turkish forces had coordinated properly with you and told you where they were going to strike and when, would you have let them go ahead? Wouldn't you have understood that they're going to strike partnered forces in Peshmerga, and would you have stopped it, told them, no, don't strike there?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into hypothetical scenarios about what we would or wouldn't have agreed to. What I can say is that it's much better to coordinate properly and assure that these conversations between allies, stalwart allies for more than 50 years, continue to assure that we can keep all of our guns trained on ISIS. That's the most dangerous enemy in the area. And unfortunately, that didn't happen, and as a result, we have this unfortunate set of incidents.
Okay, to Ryan.